Hello, welcome to the Mad Batter channel. My name's Chris. Those of you who've been using Lightroom Classic for a number of years will have seen that the so-called masking function has grown ever more powerful, enabling you to do simple edits quickly and easily and to do ever more complex edits. So I thought I'd do some videos on Lightroom Classic masking. We'll talk about what the different masks are, how you get to them. We'll talk about what masking actually is, what the different mask types are, how you apply them, how you can combine, add, subtract and intersect masks, and how to use the resulting masks in practical photo editing. I should add that the masking function in Lightroom, the cloud-based version, and in Adobe Camera Raw in Photoshop is virtually identical. A few differences in layout and different keyboard shortcuts. Navigating Lightroom using the keyboard rather than clicking on a mouse is much more efficient and much quicker. Along the way we're going to learn some of the important keyboard shortcuts which will hopefully improve your productivity. So, what is masking? Well, it's really quite simple. When you make an adjustment to an image in Lightroom, by default, the adjustment applies equally to the whole image. What masking enables you to do is to apply a particular adjustment to only that part of the image you want it applied to. That's why, in my view, masking is such a misleading term. It really should be selections. If you know anything about Photoshop, when you apply a layer mask, you use it to hide bits of that layer. Whereas here with masking, what you're doing is selecting a part of the image to be edited. If you can recall, when they first introduced masking, all we had was a brush, and it wasn't known as a mask brush, it was known as a local adjustment brush, which is a much more appropriate term. So, having got that off my chest, we're now going to learn the first two important keyboard shortcuts. As you'll see along the top, Lightroom Classic is split into 7 different areas which have different functions. The two most important by far are Library and Develop. The Library is where you can see your images in this particular catalogue, and the Develop is where you apply the adjustments. Now, to get to the Develop module, all you need to do is press the D key. That's easy, D for Develop. I'll press the D key, and here we are in the Develop module with all the adjustments available to us. To get back to the Library, you do not press the L key. If you press the L key, you're enabling the lights out mode. So the keyboard shortcut is G. Yes, I know, G for Library. The way to remember it's G for Grid. So now we're back in the Library module. So I'll press D again to get back to the Develop module. So to demonstrate the basic principle of masking, let's first reset this image. You can either click on this reset button here or press Ctrl-Shift-R. It takes us back to its default position. Now, to get into masking, you need to click on this round circle here, but it's much quicker to use the keyboard shortcut of Shift-W. That opens up the masking panel. Now I won't go into this at this point. I'll just take a brush, which is the simplest masking tool you can have, and we'll just draw like that on the image. Now this here is the overlay, which shows you where you've made a mask. If you switch it off, obviously you can't tell where your masking is. So we can switch it on again, and you can choose any colour you want and any opacity. You can reduce the opacity or you can increase it. I've chosen this rather garish purple because that stands out on most images. If you choose green, blue or red, most images have some of that colour in them. You can see the standard colours here. I'll get rid of that. So now this is the area we've masked, or really it's the area we've selected. So if we now make our adjustment, let's increase exposure, and we can also cool it off again as before, and there we are. All we've done is applied the adjustment to the area selected, or the masked area as Lightroom Classic calls it. Just a couple of other things about the masking overlay. You'll see I've deleted the mask. We'll go into that later. We'll take another brush. Again, I can click here, but it's much quicker to use the keyboard shortcut K. So hit the K key, and then we'll make our adjustment. Now, you'll see we can switch the overlay off and on. The shortcut for that is the letter O, on, off. And if it's on, you can also show it by hovering your cursor over the little pin, which is where you started to make the adjustment. The other thing to say, we'll switch the overlay on, is when you start to make an adjustment, the overlay automatically disappears, so you can see what your adjustment is. So again, I can now press the O key to bring back the overlay. So there we are, the very basics of what masking is. In the next few videos I'll go into much more detail about the individual masks and other tips and tricks, and after that we'll go into combining masks in various ways and how these make for practical steps to produce good edits of your images. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, perhaps you could subscribe and like, and in the comments suggest things that you might like me to cover in the next few videos. Many thanks.